other different types of dementia, and depending upon where the difficulties lie, that in the illness determines the course of treatment.
Yes, you can. All you have to do is want to do it.
Yes.
Want to be it.
When you set your mind to it, and this is who you are, and
the grown men. We have the youth that we need to mentor, and we need to inspire, and we need to motivate. But I know, as a recent conversation between you and I, that you're also in the business of motivating grown men. Through that, I'm supposed to see God in it at every turn. So me going to the Sea of Galilee was to remind me of that, to refresh myself of that. It is all under control, that He does have it. It's just as clear as that fresh water that I saw.
You're Our Unity, hosted by LeShawn Walker, Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. EST.
Welcome, everyone, to You're Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to heal, mend any broken or disconnected relationship that you may have with your father or the father figure in your life. Please release whatever weight that you may be holding on to from anything that is unspoken, or anything that is something that's on your heart that may be concerning you, or even the fact that there was inaction within that relationship with that father or loved one. I am your host, LeShawn Walker. I want to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. Please tag a friend or two and let them know that we're on. I hope you guys had a wonderful couple of days celebrating. It has been nothing but parties and festivities, and I've been joining in the Jubilee myself. This past weekend was just so very, very busy, packed with so many activities. There was parties for the graduates, the seniors this year. There was Father's Day, and also there was Juneteenth that I'm sure so many were able to enjoy as well. So I hope you guys were out there this weekend just enjoying the sunlight, the family, the friends, the beauty, the love, everything that's going on at this moment. As you know, every weekend I try to do something that fills my heart. I don't want to just be in the house, watching television and not being productive. So I was out in the community this weekend, as always, and I was celebrating with the fathers, and I was celebrating with the seniors. So I want to share with you a little about my weekend, my friend. So this week in Unity in the community. I was able to join the Elmont Cultural Center, which is a nonprofit organization that strives to bring people together through appreciation for diversity. This event was amazing. They had speakers, they had performers, they had bouncy houses for the kids. It was all about community, celebrating the Juneteenth celebrations and events. There we have my beautiful queen, Celine, and the local community board there for the Elmont Cultural Center. They are all about community development. They are all about engaging, their community with different uplifting activities and programs, and they did not fail to disappoint, I will tell you. So Mirror Empowerment, my beautiful queen, Celine, was out there, obviously selling her book and also meeting and greeting the young youth that were there. And they also had the godfather of hip hop there, who I was so blessed and honored to take a picture with. Ralph McDaniels was there. They honored him with the citation of proclamation for all the work that he's done, not only in their community, I'm sure, but communities across the world. It was truly a beautiful event. So many people came out. The community, although it rained a little bit, they came out and they enjoyed all the vendors that were there, all of the love love and the joy that everyone came there to enjoy together, because that was the point. It's about building each other up. It's about celebrating this time, this moment of freedom that we all feel within our hearts. So it was really good. I truly enjoyed it, but I had to rush off from there and meet up with my friend, my girlfriend Tracy, and we went to another Juneteenth event. This one was to celebrate not only June 10th, but Father's Day as well. So we showed up and we hung out with all of these people that not only were just enjoy and happy celebration of that moment, but also to celebrate the fact that the family that through this spectacular event, their son was leaving for college, graduated apparently with honors. He's got a scholarship. He's going to college. And this man is doing it, I believe, on a scholarship as well. So they were celebrating not only, Juneteenth and fatherhood, but they were celebrating also what they poured into this amazing young man who I don't have a picture of at this moment. The next day, that is my partner on the Lions Club, Hempstead Lions Club. She is my co-community service outreach partner. And we went to the Nassau Rehabilitation Center, the nursing home in our community. And basically we just gave a plant for Father's Day to all the fathers that are in the nursing home. And that is the event that was held in Hempstead at the Hempstead Village. That is our Juneteenth event. It was amazing. This is my first time attending this event. Apparently from Mayor Hobbs, they've been doing this for years, even before it was recognized as a holiday as of last year. This event is to empower our people. It is all about patriotism and hometown pride. That is the president of the Hempstead Lions Club, as well as Scotty, who I showed you a picture of earlier. We were out there greeting the people. We had a raffle. We were just sharing, all of the information that the Lion Club offers. We were asking people, obviously, to register to be members. We are just looking to serve the community. There goes Mayor Hobbs and his beautiful wife. We just want everyone to come out and serve in some capacity. And that's what we shared this weekend. That is the Lion Club members, and that is the raffle that we had at the event as well. So again, my weekend was all about love. It was all about community. It was all about just being with my people. And I enjoyed it immensely. It was also about celebrating fathers. My father is no longer here, unfortunately. I had my moment with him, and, I'm just praying, every year that it gets better for me to have Father's Day without him. I was happier this year only because I had so many activities that I was a part of, but also because I have no regrets. My father is no longer here, unfortunately, but, I feel still a certain happiness and a certain joy in the thoughts and all of the memories that I have for him and about him. I know a lot of people I know don't have relationships with their dad. And I mentioned earlier that if you do have a broken or disconnected relationship, for you to start working on it now. It's never too late. You don't want to hold on to any sadness or unspoken truths or anything that's holding in your heart that's keeping you from progressing and moving forward and being a happy person. You don't want to leave those unspoken words, in you. Your father passes away, or unfortunately something happens to you. You don't want to leave this earth not knowing the truth or not resolving any pain that you may be holding on to. So I'm encouraging everyone out there to please do that. I know too many hurt hearts right now who have lost their dads. My brother in particular, unfortunately, who is still holding on to just such grief and such sadness because he wasn't able to mend whatever hurt and pain he had and whatever disconnect that he had with my father before he passed away. So you don't want to hold on to that. You don't want to live that life. And you definitely don't want to pass that on to your children in the event that you have your own. So today I want to share with you a story from a man who is also a father, a wonderful father, who just wants to share the journey and the truths of being a father and how difficult those times are, even when you're putting your best foot forward. We're going to talk to an amazing man, and the title of the show today is the love of a father or a father's love. And I want to talk to you today with Neddy Smith. Neddy Smith is an author, poet, educator, professional musician, and CEO at Neddy International. Born in Montego Bay, Jamaica, West Indies, Neddy is also a composer, music producer, songwriter, bassist, and band leader. He has led and directed various music groups and a music ministry. He's traveled extensively as a recording artist, performing his craft, and as a corporate training instructor, conducting seminars in broadcast graphic applications. He has worked extensively with some of the world's best musicians. Currently, Neddy conducts virtual and in-person music classes, storytelling, and poetry performance sessions for the physically challenged at the STAR organization. Neddy's primary goal is to bring a new generation of authors, poets, composers, and songwriters, and music lovers on a whole to the attention of indie creators. He is a proud, loving father who is here to share a love story of fatherhood. Please help me welcome Mr. Neddy Smith. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. I had a busy morning, busy day, with the STAR organization and the special need kids.
Yes.
So it was very special today. But when you flashed my dad's picture on that wall, it just took me back. Just automatic.
I love that because that's what we're going to be talking about, my friend. All of that. I want to thank you so much for being here. How was your Juneteenth? How was your Father's Day before we continue?
Well, the Juneteenth was a very special day because I had to do a Juneteenth presentation to multiple facilities where there were special needs. I mean, some people couldn't come out of those homes, but it was the virtual connection that was made through the storytelling, through the music, through the spirit of the music, and the reaction and the person within me that felt that connection.
Nice.
It was so automatic, so organic that the pleasant feeling with this mind, body, soul, the entire consciousness of the spirit with what Juneteenth meant, and what it means today. Came out through that performance. In fact, I used one rhythm throughout the presentation.
Really?
45 minutes. And I was just telling the story, I would read something, but I was really singing.
Right. Yeah.
Because if I had read it, it would sound so dry.
Right.
So I don't know why I decided to
sing it. You knew why. Overtook you, my friend. The moment, the energy, just everything, it just overtook you and you had to turn it into a melody. Well, I'm so glad that you enjoyed your Juneteenth celebrations and happy Father's Day. How was your Father's Day?
Was a blast.
Nice.
In fact, I celebrated Father's Day with my wife and my kids called me. That's always my highlight.
Nice.
My youngest son called and he thought he was just going to call and say bye. But then we ended up talking about things we had never spoken about.
Yes.
We made a connection. Now we were not talking about father and son. We were talking about father to father.
Yes.
And that connection, it was that connection that opened up another chapter in our relationship.
Yeah. I love it.
So my wife was calling me and she couldn't get me for about an hour. She was calling my son to say Happy Father's Day. She couldn't get him for an hour. So when it was all finished with me and my son, she put the call in again and said, man, I've been calling you. He said, yeah, I was with Dad. And he went on
We know you in that conversation quick. Oh my God, that is wonderful, Neddy, because that's really what I was speaking to. And not that there was any broken or fracture or disconnect, but just the fact that you guys were able to have a meaningful conversation and something that would, connect you both in the state, in the position, the level, and the state that you are right now.
Right.
So I really love that you said that. Well, I mean, everyone knows you already, my friend. You've been here a couple of times. You are no stranger to your Our Unity. So I'm not going to ask you too much about your upbringing because we kind of already know. But what I want to know more about is your relationship with your dad. I mean, this is Father's Day celebrations for me this week. I did it for the moms last month. So I want to give a father, a dad, a man the opportunity to speak to what that role is and how important it is and what experiences they had growing up. So, how was your relationship with your dad? And did you realize at a young age, how important, a father's role was and what it meant?
Yes. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word became what it became.
Mm-hmm.
And there was my father, because at an early age, my mom traveled to England. So my dad became both parents.
Wow.
He was like the pillar of my civilization back then. And during that time, he would cook 3 meals because it was 3 of us at the time. And he would cook whatever we wanted. So we didn't know any different. We didn't know we should just eat 1 meal.
Right.
Right? But whatever we wanted, he would provide. And that relationship took us beyond just, father figure, because he was like a spiritual father in a sense, as a physical father, because sometimes I know he was the protector, because any fly comes around, he's going to, he's going to swat them down.
Swat it away, that's right.
Because no one could come into our milieu, no one, except his spirit was in agreement with that. And that's why I said he was also my spiritual father, because he had a sense of who should come and who should not.
Right.
So my dad was a businessman. He had properties, he had rentals, and he had a store. And in that store, we literally grew up in, because you can't eat the food unless you do the time in the store.
I heard that.
If you're gonna do anything, you got to make sure. Listen, this is what you got to do. Your chore starts now.
Yeah.
And you come from school. Your chore is already defined for you. I was a little troublesome. I was the troublemaker.
Really?
I would cause things not to go as smooth as it should. But I was like a happy one too. I was happy doing it, But one thing my dad didn't like was a lie. I told him once. I mean, not once. I told him one.
Yeah. Are you counting them?
Oh, I can't even begin to count. So what happens one day? What he does, he calculates them. Like he adds them up. He doesn't punish me on the same day. For one, I have to have lies accumulation day.
Oh wow. That must mean double, quadruple the pain, my friend. Yes.
One day I was in the bathroom, showering in my birthday clothes, of course. And he found that was the best opportunity to take out the belt.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I usually, whenever he's going to punish me, I would put cardboard between my pants and where I sit.
Well, he caught you off guard that day, obviously, right? And let it
I think he
tally.
was having fun too, because he said he's been accumulating. You notice I didn't say anything for months, but
Wow.
once it's accumulated, I get it all
Wow. At
at
one
that
time.
time. But the
Wow.
beauty about that is the way in which he disciplines.
Mm.
He doesn't discipline because he wants to hit me or beat me, or it wasn't about beating to the core where your skin would strip,
Mm.
you know. But he would send me for the switch, and I
Yeah.
would have to go for the switch, cut it off the tree because there was a tree just across the street,
Mm-hmm.
and I would come back with that switch in my hand,
Wow.
you know. But what I learned is that you don't punish anyone on the first go. You give them opportunities.
Mm.
And when you give them opportunities, you see how many times they will commit the same atrocity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so that was his lesson for me, because at one time a lady called Mrs. Brown, she called me and said, you know something, your dad loves you so much he doesn't even know what to do with you,
Mm.
because every time you keep switching, you know, you
Mm-hmm.
want to do this and then you switch, you want to do that and then you switch. So growing up, I knew I was not one of those kids that would just stay on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that because I would try different things. I wanted to be a mechanic. That was his desire for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried it, but I couldn't be.
Wow.
You know, to become a mechanical engineer, it's just something I couldn't be.
Mm.
You know,
Well,
that
let me
was
ask
never
you,
fun.
you said your father was a businessman. What kind of business was he in?
He had a store, a grocery store,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, and we and plus properties
Mm-hmm. All right.
that he managed,
Right.
you know, a lot of rentals, you
Can
know.
I ask you, how did he manage to obviously run all of his businesses and play mother and father to both you and your siblings? How was he able to manage that?
Easy. He didn't know that's what he was doing.
Mm.
He just knew he had to.
He just learned as he go. Okay, I get it. I
He
get
just
it.
knew he had to do what he had to do,
Wow.
and that we don't cry at his feet.
Wow. So what did you learn from that? I mean, seeing that, and I know you said, there were certain things that you weren't going to be able to
Right.
sort of get into. And I know that you're a creative mind. I know that you have a very artistic mind as well. So, in that, how did you learn, to navigate the way you have, and what did you learn from your father at that
Well,
time?
one of the main thing that I can say, when he began to call me butterfly, he knew then that I was not going to sit in one place.
Mm,
So he said, "Oh, you're like a butterfly."
mm,
So he allowed me to discover different things on my own.
mm,
So I would go and clean people's instruments,
mm.
because he said, if you want to do something, you've got to work to learn it.
Yeah.
So I would go to the music people and I would clean their instruments. You know, I would cook. I would do the run-ins. You know, and I would do all those things because he said you got to work to learn. So I
Right.
was looking for money.
Wow.
You know, I had a roof over my head and I had food.
You was working to learn.
I was working to learn.
Wow.
So that one point of many, resonates with me.
Uh-huh.
I give you another instant. I was in the shop one day, not one day, but every Sunday I would go to read
Mm-hmm.
by his bedside, and I must read no matter what, even if he's sleeping. I must just find myself at his bedside and read.
Right.
So this one Sunday, LeShawn, you're going to be amazed at this one. This one Sunday, I went in with my reading book, But the guys were playing outside, and I wanted to go to play.
Uh-huh.
So I decided to do a little thing because I know my dad doesn't read my book,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm reading and I'm skipping chapters. I'm reading, I'm skipping verses. I'm reading, skipping some more chapters, some more paragraphs. And then he asked me if I'm finished. I thought he was sleeping.
Ah, he was watching everything you was doing. No
I thought
way.
he was sleeping. He asked me, what did I read just now?
Uh-huh. What did you learn?
And what is the message? What? And I said, I finished reading. I did. He said, okay, tell me what's, in that area of the passage that I read.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't say a word.
Wow.
They said, why don't you start from the beginning again?
And just do it over. Oh my goodness.
I
Oh my
was
God.
scared.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, considering, I'm sure you had a great, relationship and support from your dad. Was there ever a time, that you kind of, had any issues or did you see that you could have asked your father something more, to get a little bit more of a deeper connection with him? Do you feel that you've missed out on precious moments that you could have possibly had with him?
No, we had the struggles as father and son too.
Okay.
We had some of those, and those are the memorable things.
Yeah.
Those are the things that let me know how precious this man was, because he would punish, but in a way to make you learn.
Yeah.
And this I tell you, this one event that happened. I was in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just making noise. I was just jumping. I was just doing anything, and playing the guitar. And for some reason, he was so angry at me because I had chores to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had so much chores to do. I had to pack things in the storeroom because things were delivered. But I had a different schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of guy that sees the cup upside down and give it a different name. Because it has a different function.
Right.
Once I turn it upside down. So that's me.
Right.
I construct things on the fly.
Right.
So I wasn't ready to go and pack the things in the storeroom. Well, my dad was fuming. But I didn't know how much fume was blowing. I had no idea. Because he would tell me a couple of times and remind me a couple of times that I have things to do. LeShawn, my dad came out with a plate. And have you ever seen a flying saucer?
Uh-huh. Right at your head.
That flying saucer was my guitar.
Oh, wow. Really?
He took the guitar and threw it down, right? And you know something?
What?
That was the best thing he had ever done.
Okay.
I tell you why now. I was doing so many things that I wasn't focused. But when he threw my guitar down the stairs, he said, if you're going to make noise in my house, you better go and learn a scale. I had no idea what a scale was. I was just tinkering on the guitar, hoping that's something I would hang on to. But he said that, and for some reason, in my deepest core, in my spiritual being, I felt a lightning bolt struck truth throughout my body. What's a scale? My dad is not a musician. He never played an instrument. Right? But he's telling me if I'm going to make noise, I better go learn a scale.
Go learn a skill. Wow.
Not a skill, a scale.
A scale?
A musical scale.
Oh, I thought he said skill. He said scale. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you're listening to Jamaican.
Okay, yeah. Okay. You said scale. All right, so he wanted you to learn the scale for the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Immediately, immediately, I got up and I went to the music store.
Mm.
I had a little money in my pocket. I probably took it from the store anyway. But I had a little money in my pocket. I went down to the music store and I purchased every book I could find on scales
I love it. I love that.
and guitar scales, piano, trumpet, trombone. I
Mm.
didn't know I could only buy one book. I just bought everything.
He was like trying to learn every instrument. Well, let me
Yes,
can I
because
ask
it
you
has scales.
let me ask you this, considering, it sounds like he was very big on you learning and
Yeah,
honing, your gifts and your expertise.
right.
So now you are a young father, I'm sure, because I want to talk about you and your fatherhood.
Okay.
You're a young father and you're being told now that you're about to be a dad. Can you tell me, how did you feel at that moment? What thoughts came over you and what did you take from your father into your now new role as a dad?
Okay. When my first son was born, I was on tour
Mm-hmm.
in the Cayman Islands.
Mm.
But that night, while I was on stage, I walked off the stage.
Mm.
I walked off the stage because something was happening deep within me,
Mm.
and I knew that that was the birth of my son.
Wow. That's
See, and
amazing.
the musician, the director, they came and asked me what happened. I said, my son is born. Something tells me, I'm not settled. And I walked out the hotel. It was a holiday hotel in the Cayman at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked towards the beach and stood there as if I was looking across the ocean.
Right.
And it was that connection that held my spirit, held my consciousness about what was going on.
Right.
And funny, I don't think I've spoken about this particular happening except when I was in the Grand Cayman.
Wow.
You know,
That is
that's how long. So if my sons really hear this, they're going to hear something that they've never heard before.
that is so you felt that connection, you felt that moment.
Yes,
He actually was born. What,
absolutely.
what did that feel like? My guest last week, a wonderful, amazing young man, was here, and he said that, once he found out he was about to be a dad, or when he became a dad, he just felt that extra weight. It's already that weight that you impose on yourself to be and to do and to accomplish.
Yeah.
But once you have a son, once you have a child, what does that feel like? And did you feel it? And tell us a little about it.
I think every firstborn has a special connection to their dad. Not speaking about their mom in the limelight, Guys will talk about their mom
We always are.
24/7, right? But it is that one moment that a dad and a son is connected
Mm.
is when that child is born and that dad hold the child. I didn't have an opportunity to hold my firstborn,
Mm.
but I felt that spiritual connection.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it was that spiritual connection that bonded us even today.
Right.
Now, today, as a dad, when they were growing up, I would every weekend, we would no, I would have them read a book.
Mm.
They would read just like how my dad
Mm-hmm.
would have me sit down and read. It
Mm-hmm.
was me now, emulating my dad.
Right.
So the son became the dad now. So they would write an analysis of what they have read. So they would go to the library, pick a book of their choice. I wouldn't give them, you know, their choice. I said,
Mm-hmm.
you pick the book of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And every weekend they would write a report. And funny, not funny, really, I would read it when I go to work because I used to work at General Instrument at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I would work, and at lunchtime I would go and read, read their work.
Aw, I
The,
love that.
the beauty about that is that both guys were getting the same tutelage,
Mm,
right?
hmm.
And they would call me all sort of names because I wouldn't allow them to go outside, because if they go outside, they got to give me twice the time they spend outside,
Right, right.
right? Because I had to put that discipline in them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go out to play ball with their friends for 30 minutes, they have to give me an hour.
I like that.
If they watch TV for the same amount, 30
Mhm.
minutes, now they have to give me an hour.
Wow. I
You
love
know,
that.
and that hour is me instilling certain things.
Yeah.
They think I talk a lot anyway, just like my
Like your dad. That's what literally I was just about to say that. Like father, like son, my friend. You have definitely taken what he did to you to the next level. But I'm sure it helped them. I'm sure it helped them.
it
Let me
did.
ask you, I mean, because we know we have a lot of fathers in this world and a
Mhm.
lot of children who don't feel that connection that you felt, that didn't have that immediate, just feeling of their child being born or even, wanting to or trying to forge that connection, even if they could. So tell me a little about how you were able to feel that. And is this something that all fathers innately should have and they just, don't exercise it, or
Yeah,
it is? Okay,
yeah.
so talk to me.
As a physical being that we are, there is a spiritual man within us that's guiding us. And when that spiritual man is connected with the divine, with the creator, there's another level of direction.
Mm,
Some of us are attached early, some of us in our middle age, some of us later.
mm-hmm.
But it depends on the tutelage. Now, you can learn something from your dad and still don't apply it until later. And
True.
many things I have learned from my dad, I didn't recognize them until I became a dad.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and the things that I had to do to overcome some of the struggles of being a dad, and also making sure that things move progressively.
Right.
Because if it's one thing they had to do, is be educated. Number one, there was no if, ands, or but about it.
Mm-hmm.
See, because the generation that I came from was always putting the next generation on a ladder.
Right. Right. I
See?
see.
So it was important for my kids to go through that phase with me. And I was also learning too.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So the physical man sees things as they are. But when you go to bed or alone, there's something that you receive if you're connected.
Mm.
I told my son the other day, my youngest son, I was explaining to him that, I was in the kitchen and I had an onion. I was cutting the onion. I cut it in two.
Right.
And in that onion, there was a rust in the middle, covering the core.
Mm.
So it was now dividing the heart of the onion
Right.
and the outside of the onion.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't dawn on me the message that was in it until I sat down and I began to look. I said, but wait, our heart is pure. But if we allow the rust of life and the
Yes.
rust of peer pressure to
Yes.
cover it, then we
Yeah.
won't be truthful or sensitive to
Yes.
our kids, our surroundings, or be discerning.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah.
So this is where my dad came in now. He said, guard your heart.
Yeah.
Whenever, don't allow anything or anyone to come into your space with negativity. And he gave me a good example. He said, if someone is going to hurt you, they can't hurt you spiritually because your spirit would be connected to see when that arrow is coming at you. But they will have to do you hurt physically because
Right.
you're a physical being. See, they'll have to do something literally. So be careful. So as a musician, when I went on the road, those are the things I watched out for.
Right.
Who is coming around me? And I told my kids the same thing. You know, be careful of the physical because that's the only time anyone can harm you.
Yeah.
Because your spirit is more connected
Right.
to mine than those who are trying to harm you.
Yeah. No.
But don't disregard it.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I know that we all have to be careful about the people and the energy that we allow around us. And I know it's important that we're always around positive and uplifting people. And in terms of, dads and fathers who don't have, that support system and don't have that uplifting, person in their life. Tell me a little about how we should sort of look for, how they should look for that, or find someone that can kind of guide them to that, so that we don't have these families that are broken, these relationships with fathers and children that are broken.
Accountability. Accountability and trust. Relationship, accountability, trust. I give you a good example, and I'm going to talk to you based on my niece.
Okay.
My niece had a dad, but I was her daddy. I was her dad. She had a father, and that father was missing in her life. She turned to me, I turned to her. And that means I will be that proxy. I will be that person. She gave me that trust, and we had that relationship. She's now a teacher.
Wow.
She's now a teacher in North Carolina. So we're talking about from Jamaica. Right? Last night I came home after me and my wife had a wedding anniversary, Father's Day, and all the celebration combined together. We just said, let's just do this one and call it, what we need to call it. And we had a good time. So I came in the house, opened the door, and I saw a package at the door. I said, I didn't order anything. And my wife said, yeah, you didn't order anything. I think I was doing one of those, slip, and she caught me.
Exactly. I was supposed to be at work.
I said, no, I honestly did not. She said, yeah, tell me another one. How many what did you buy this time? Well, I opened it. When I opened it, I received a package. And in that package was these two small items. These items, this one says, the best uncle ever.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
At the back of it, it reads, what it read, I am so grateful for all that you are and all that you do, for the love you give and the laughter we share, for letting me know you'll always be there. I am so blessed to have an uncle like you.
Oh my
Love
God.
you.
That is
When I got this, you don't know that the river wasn't flowing as fast as my tears were.
Yeah.
The emotion within this triggered a lot of thoughts. Then I opened this thing, and it was a silver guitar pick.
Oh, wow.
And the meaning of this, it says, I couldn't pick a better uncle.
Yes. I love that. Oh my God. I love that little girl.
I couldn't pick a
That
better
grown woman. I know that was very, very touching and emotional for you, right? Mm.
and oh, it was so much that
I
even
know. Yeah.
today I presented this love of father and love of family, and you don't have to have a blood father
Right.
to say you're a father for someone,
Yep.
because my dad was also another teaching moment. My dad said, if there is someone that needs a father and you
Mm-hmm.
can be there,
Mm-hmm.
be that father for that person.
Yes. Yes.
So
Indeed.
I was her father
I
in
love
that
that.
context.
Oh my God, you were just loved all over this weekend, my friend. You had this very meaningful and deep conversation with your son. And
Yeah.
then you have your niece who took the time to not only, to say how much you meant to her, but to actually shower you with gifts that show you that as well. I think that is so amazing. That's a testament to the great man and the great father that you are. So, knowing that these people love you so much, tell me what is your favorite part about being this dad and this uncle who is such a support system for his family, but also obviously someone that they can come to and someone that they can share whatever they need to share with.
The greatest part is having the relationship
Mm,
and having the trust that my son can call me up and say something,
mm.
you know, and sometimes he'll cut me up and say, Dad, I don't want the long version. Give me the short version.
Oh my goodness.
And just having that relationship
Yeah.
is very important, because if there's no relationship, there's no trust.
Yeah, no, I believe that. I believe that.
See?
Let me ask you too. A lot of broken, as I mentioned earlier, there's broken relationships within the father and child relationships. And how how do we encourage people to fix them? Because it's not good to hold on to these hurts and these pains. We need to forgive and forget and move on.
Sure.
I was able to have such a beautiful conversation with my mom
Mhm.
for Mother's Day, and I think exactly what you did with your son is I just asked her a question and I just let her just share whatever was on her heart. It was no, judgment. There was, no. I learned things that I probably, never would have thought I ever would have known had I not asked this question. But it was just for her to just spill what her truths were and what her expectations of being a mother were, and what she poured and sacrificed into that role. So, I mean, for you, tell me, how do you feel about those broken relationships, and how can we encourage people to fix and mend them right now?
Okay. Number one is repentance, a contrite heart. It has to, you have to go on
Mm,
a journey of self
mm-hmm.
to discover who you are, because who
Yes,
you are might not be who you're acting as.
that's right.
See, when we go on that journey, in fact, I'm telling you my experience. I had to go on a spiritual journey. And by
Mm,
going on that spiritual journey, I was able to see things more clearly.
mm,
And it was that clarity that opens the other possibilities.
mm.
See, because we can be disabled by our physical self because we want to look like somebody else, we want to do things like other people. So, as a father, and father has to be very prayerful and meditative. Fathers, don't turn your back on the simple things you might see your child doing, because that simple thing might turn out to be something other than what you're expecting. Don't agree so quickly
Mm.
and laugh at what they're doing if you know it is not right, if it's not right within you. But then if they are disconnected from their spiritual father, the physical father won't guide the way they are supposed to be guided.
Mm.
So it is that connection with father and son that must be protected. You know, father has to protect the mother. If the mother is not protected by her husband, the mother become like a mother hen,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and powerful and want to do everything, you know, and build that net around her child. With the father will help to guide. Because when my mom says, go to your dad, I know it's a harder punishment than
Yeah.
when she punishes me.
Yeah.
So
That
it's
is
that
true.
guideline that the fathers have to go back and reflect on their power, their self. So that spiritual journey that I went on
Mm-hmm.
was the clarity, because I was running all over the place. You know, I was going from here. I would I would be sitting in my backyard with my buddies, and I'll go downtown and pick up a ticket and head off to the Bahamas or someplace.
Wow.
I wouldn't even say anything to anybody. My dad didn't see me for 6 months.
Wow.
He had to send all my friends to track me down because I was that kind of a person, and he knew I was that kind of person, and he knew I was going to make contact, but it
Right.
was going to be on my time.
Right.
So I
Right.
have to learn now as a parent that fathers worry too. They're
Yeah.
not all these tough macho people that we
Mm-hmm.
were scared of when we were young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to learn that. And one of the things that I would suggest is that you go to someone who you're accountable to. Accountability.
Mm-hmm.
I had to find my accountability person,
Right.
someone I can talk to, someone I can relate to, and they can give me feedback.
Right.
Guys are scared of that.
Yeah, no, they are. They are. Feelings and emotions. I feel like a lot of guys weren't taught that growing up. You said it even in the beginning. It's about learning. It's about being strong. It's about being a protector. And my brother, I learned from him as well. You know, my father
Yeah.
instilled those things in him, and he didn't get to learn how to process emotions and feelings properly. And I think that's what's hindering him, you know, from moving forward right now in his grief and his sadness from my father, you know, passing away without them connecting and without them
Yeah.
healing their issues that they had. And they loved each other very dearly. But again, my brother didn't know the things that my father was instilling in him until he became an adult, until he had that 2020 sort of vision about the whole thing. And he's suffering from it right now. So that's why I really wanted this conversation today to be about how can we encourage and teach, you know, the fathers and the children out there to heal their broken relationships. I think it's so important. I saw so many, you know, families celebrating Father's Day. And then, you know, I go on social media and you got people fighting because the child didn't wish them happy Father's Day, and the father saying how, you know, disrespectful the kid is, and the kid is talking about how you never was around. And so I want those type of issues to kind of be fixed. I want people to forgive and move on. I want people to share what's on their hearts and their minds. I want them to do what you did with your son on Father's Day and what I did with my mom on Mother's Day. I want you to just let them share what's on their heart, whether you want to hear it, whether you don't. Just let them share it and then move on from it. Listen, hear it, leave it where it is and move on and just start anew. So we're winding down in time, and we only got really like a couple of minutes. I want you to please just leave us with just what is on your heart and your mind in regard to fatherhood and the importance of being there for our children.
Fatherhood, fathers, become yourself. What would you like for yourself? What you like for yourself, you want to do to others. What do you want to give? If you get a gift, what kind of gift would you like? Then that's the gift you give. This gift I got was not $1 million gift, but it's more than $1 million. Immediately I put it on my keychain. So it's a relationship that needs to be built. And if that relationship is broken, it's because the trust is broken. Fathers, you have to, I don't hate to say it because I saw my dad cry. Men do cry.
Yes, they do.
You see, and it's not a shame to say, well, I'm going to hide and cry this one cry. You know, you have to learn how to let yourself be vulnerable.
Yes.
To your kids. Let your kids know that you're human. You're not this angry, macho person who just don't want them around. Let them want to come around you.
Yes.
You know, let them be invited by your aura.
Yes.
You know, and fathers, please pray for your kids.
Yes. Yes.
Pray for your kids. Let them see you pray.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much. Neddy, my friend, we never get totally into everything I need for us to talk about because you always send me on these spiritual journeys. I can't take you, man. But we're going to put your information up. Please reach out to my friend. He is at Neddy Jen International. That is his business, neddyjen.com, and on at Neddy Smith Bass on IG. Thank you so much. Oh, there's your album cover. You have an album coming out real quick. Tell me. And I mean,
it
like,
came out on the 15th. That's the older album.
Okay.
That's the previous one. This is the one that's out now on Amazon, Spotify, all major streaming services.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. We will be checking you out. Thank you so much for being here. Please do not go anywhere because I want to get real quick.
The album title is My Baby Girl.
That's the album, right?
That's my granddaughter.
Oh, that's nice. All right. So we're going to get real quick to the Dare to Be You.
Yeah.
And it is, a father is neither an anchor to hold us back, nor a sail to take us there, but a guiding light whose love shows us the way. And that honestly is whether he is in your life or not. He should still be that beacon of hope, that beacon of just love, that beacon of you wanting to have more, to do more, and to receive more so that you can give more to your child when you eventually have one. I'd like to thank you so much, Neddy, for being here. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in to another episode of Your Our Unity. We will see you next week, but please remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. So let's go out there and be some love, give some love, share some love, and remember that unity cannot exist without you. Have a wonderful evening. We will see you next week. I love you guys, and say goodnight, Neddy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Month,
thank you.
Week, and year. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Strong Island Entertainment